freedom in capitalist society always remains about the same as it was in ancient Greek republics, freedom for slave owners. There are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. Despair is typical of those who do not understand the causes of evil, see no way out, and are incapable of struggle. A lie told often enough becomes the truth. Without revolutionary theory, there can be no revolutionary movement. Give me just one generation of youth, and I'll transform the whole world. Can a nation be free if it oppresses other nations? It cannot. During the lifetime of great revolutionaries, the oppressing classes constantly hounded them, received their theories with the most savage malice, the most furious hatred and the most unscrupulous campaigns of lies and slander. After their death, attempts are made to convert them into harmless icons, to canonize them, so to say, and to hallow their names to a certain extent for the consolation of the oppressed classes and with the object of duping the latter, while at the same time robbing the revolutionary theory of its substance, blunting its revolutionary edge and vulgarizing it. Sometimes, history needs a push. The best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. The capitalists will sell us the rope with which we will hang them. Unity is a great thing and a great slogan. But what the workers' cause needs is the unity of Marxists, not unity between Marxists, and opponents and distorters of Marxism. Every society is 3 meals away from chaos. 3 keys to success: read, read, read. When a liberal is abused, he says, "Thank God they didn't beat me." When he is beaten, he thanks God they didn't kill him. When he is killed, he will thank God that his immortal soul has been delivered from its mortal clay. The way to crush the bourgeoisie is to grind them between the millstones of taxation and inflation. While the state exists, there can be no freedom. When there's freedom, there will be no state. Imperialism, the final stage of capitalism. I can't listen to music too often. It affects your nerves, makes you want to say stupid nice things and stroke the heads of people who could create such beauty while living in this vile hell. We are not utopians, we do not dream of dispensing at once with all administration, with all subordination. These anarchist dreams, based upon incomprehension of the tasks of the proletarian dictatorship, are totally alien to Marxism, and, as a matter of fact, serve only to postpone the socialist revolution until people are different. No, we want the socialist revolution with people as they are now, with people who cannot dispense with subordination, control, and foremen and accountants. The goal of socialism is communism. It is more pleasant and useful to go through the experience of the revolution than to write about it. There are no morals in politics, there is only experience. A scoundrel may be of use because he is a scoundrel. Medicine is the keystone of the arch of socialism. Religion is only a means to numb the people and weaken them so that their exploiters can enslave the people to infinity, as they remain captive to empty religious appearances that make them forget that they are enslaved mentally, spiritually and physically, and that their human freedom is tampered with by the hands of those who rule over them. Whenever the cause of the people is entrusted to professors, it is lost. All official and liberal science defends wage slavery, whereas Marxism has declared relentless war on that slavery. All over the world, wherever there are capitalists, freedom of the press means freedom to buy up newspapers, to buy writers, to bribe, buy and fake public opinion for the benefit of the bourgeoisie. Capitalists can buy themselves out of any crisis, so long as they make the workers pay. But suppose, for the sake of argument, free competition, without any sort of monopoly, would develop capitalism trade more rapidly. Is it not a fact that the more rapidly trade and capitalism develop, the greater is the concentration of production and capital, which gives rise to monopoly? Revolution can never be forecast, it cannot be foretold, it comes of itself. Revolution is brewing and is bound to flare up. Attention must be devoted principally to raising the workers to the level of revolutionaries. It is not our task to descend to the level of the working masses. The intellectual forces of the workers and peasants are growing and getting stronger in their fight to overthrow the bourgeoisie and their accomplices, the educated classes, the lackeys of capital, who consider themselves the brains of the nation. In fact, they are not its brains but its shit. Human knowledge is not, or does not follow, a straight line, but a curve, which endlessly approximates a series of circles, a spiral. Any fragment, segment, section of this curve can be transformed one-sidedly, into an independent, complete, straight line, which then, if one does not see the wood for the trees, leads into the quagmire, into clerical obscurantism, where it is anchored by the class interests of the ruling classes. The feminine section of the proletarian army is of particularly great significance. The success of a revolution depends on the extent to which women take part in it. He loved her with the fire of 1,000 suns, she was his solace in the chaos, his redemption. America, like a few other nations, has become characteristic for the depth of the abyss that divide a handful of brutal millionaires who are stagnating in a mire of luxury, and millions of laboring starving men and women who are always staring want in the face. Capitalism in its imperialist stage leads directly to the most comprehensive socialization of production. It, so to speak, drags the capitalists, against their will and consciousness, into some sort of a new social order, a transitional one from complete free competition to complete socialization. Production becomes social, but appropriation remains private. The social means of production remain the private property of a few. The general framework of formally recognized free competition remains, and the yoke of a few monopolists on the rest of the population becomes 100 times heavier, more burdensome and intolerable. One man with a gun can control 100 without one. Communism is Soviet power plus the electrification of the whole country. It is necessary sometimes to take one step backward to take 2 steps forward. We do not at all disagree with the anarchists on the question of the abolition of the state as an aim. It is true that liberty is precious, so precious that it must be carefully rationed.